Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video it's time for the SN Max, the SN Plus Retro Game Edition. This is so confusing, you know, this makes no sense, but what I wanted to say actually after looking around on the package, this is just in general box they're using, because we have two different versions, the game console and the game controller, and there we're having like differences. So first of all, when it comes to this, let's say this is the SN Plus, by the way, that has like a rocker. Yeah, it's going to be rocking your world, or a joystick. So this is actually what it is. So this is instant save game memory and mini version. We have reviewed so many of these things. That comes with HDMI. Let's see what it is. Is it a micro USB? Yep, micro USB. They're still using that. And the game system itself, many different mini ones. It comes with front USB, an LED, at the back we have an HDMI and a micro USB for, let's say, the charging port, or at least like the powering on. And let's check out, this is a 16 gigabyte SD card, so that is not going to be a lot of fancy stuff. And yep, there is no, let's say, plastic rubbery feet, so we can open it up later on. The controllers, there we're having this is the improved, or like the deluxe, let's say deluxe version thingy. And this is the SF200, and we do have seen these controls before with, let's say, the handhelds. And yeah, the quality itself, they do have an okay feel to it. The D-pad, yeah, there's a very cheap feel, but we have an analog stick, so that's absolutely improvement. It is not with a click like the Nintendo Switch. You do have like similarities when it comes to the joystick. Select start, and those are rubberized and having ABHY, and the feel itself is nice. The L and R, the shoulder buttons are clicky, so not a big fan of not a big fan of those. And over here we're having one AAA battery that we need to put in. Second controller, and then we're having over here the toilet paper metal. That shows actually how it actually all works. Okay, pour it in, blah de blah, blah de blah. Okay, so these things are getting so cheap that they're not going to give us like a power supply, or at least like a 5-volt normal charger. This is one of those things I got like ages ago. But this is a 2000 milliamp, so that's going to be more than enough. So let's plug in the cable, the micro USB cable, and let's hook it up to the television and see what we're getting when it comes to the software and the overall emulation performance. Alright, about your controller, let's put in the battery, and it's going to be plug and play. So the next thing is quite interesting. We have player 1 and player 2. That can be set to there. And it doesn't do anything on player 2, only player 1 can navigate through the menu, you can already hear. And I can tell you, there's quite some interesting things on here, so let's get into the menu. So for the people who see my videos, this is going to be the same situation like the SF2000, I think it's called, the handhelds, but do have like differences when it comes to overall performance. And the menu looks kinda nice, so we're having history, search, favorite, we can even ROM downloads. I'm guessing they're trying to say that we have the option to add ourselves the games here. And yeah, it's kinda weird, but pressing select will bring you back to the menu. We're having MAME, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Classic, Mega Drive, Super Famicom, PC Engine. There's another thing you don't see very often. And then having the Famicom language over here. You can change it to English, Chinese, even Spanish, so okay. Joystick configuration, so we can change out stuff if you want to with different systems. And let's see how the search will work. So let's say we're going to be searching for Sonic, of course. Oh, that sound. If you're going to putting in a letter, that's absolutely horrible. I'm guessing I need to press this. Okay. That is nice. It doesn't really show what kind of platform it is, so you need to guess. For the picture you can figure out what it is or what and how. But yeah, the search function is quite fast, works quite nice. Step back every single time pressing select. History. Let's check that. And of course the favorite list. So that's kind of cool. So you do have like a lot of options with this device. But let's get into the emulation. Let's see how that actually works out. So let's start off with some basic NES. Pressing the P button will give you the option to get yourself into the favorites, and this way you can just easily scroll only one time to your list and saying like, hey, we have a couple of games. So let's say going to the favorite list, and here we will find the games that we wanted to check out. So let's start off with some NES and some Adventure Island. Another thing I'm curious about, pressing select and start, what happens now? Okay, so what is absolutely great, so we're having the scaling situation, can make a quick save over here. Let's see how fast that will work, very fast. Resume, it automatically go to the 4:3 aspect ratio. Okay, so we do have multiple buttons, they have been configured to the NES, to the turbo function. There we go. But the emulation performance is just great. Select start, go to the menu over here, make a quick load, quick save, and we can go back to the point that we have saved. Pressing select start again, and here we can go out of the menu. Yeah, it's great. Works fast. It works absolutely just awesome. Super Famicom. Wow. Okay, so where the NES seems to be working fine, they completely messed it up when it comes to the Super Nintendo. Oh boy. Why? You know, and that are the things that I wonder, like, who's testing this? I think nobody. Such a really bummer about that. All of this freaking thing. So what I don't understand is how they mess up the Super NES part, but we do have overall great performance for the Mega Drive. We did notice it with the handhelds too, with the same similarities and same problems, so if they're going to be making an updated version of the firmware, maybe we can also implement that on this device. Yeah, there are so many different ways to play now, so is it a big problem? Yes, because if they fix that issue, we should have like an absolutely overall great performance with all like different, let's say, platforms. The menu looks great. And this can be so much better. But let's move on to some Game Boy Classic. Another thing is great that we do have overall, let's say, alphabetic order. So yeah, that is something of a special situation because we didn't have this before with many of those, let's say, different, let's say, mini things that you can play all of your retro games with. The Game Boy Classic seems to be working fine too. And with the aspect ratio, that is so much better than that widescreen shenanigans. However, these games would benefit from having an HD filter over them. And also Game Boy Classic seems to be running just fine. And Game Boy Advance also struggles. You can just see some graphical glitches. But this is not how you want to enjoy those games. What I can try is to get ourselves a different game. So let's go quitting. I think it's a particular game. There's another one over here. But I think it's not going to be having any better overall performance. The unfortunate part is the other game also had Alien Hominid, but also this particular one does have like the same problems, glitching, so the emulator is not working like it should be. But again, it's not necessary because you can play these things on all kinds of like emulators without any problems. But let's get into the gameplay, see how it actually works out. But you can just hear the stuttering going on. Some weird glitches, no, that's normal. Yeah, but it's not how it should be played. We're getting into MAME, and this is the weird thing of this device. Now it works just fine. So if you want to play some arcade games, this works just great. And you know, if every platform was working perfectly, we would have like a kind of cool product to just check out. So move on to some Neo Geo with some Metal Slug. And also this is great. I do notice that the D-pad is very sensitive and it is very difficult to play this game. Of course we do have ourselves the analog sticks that makes it so much better. I do hear some stutter going on. Let's play a little bit more. Yeah, you do hear some stuttering. Okay, so for the final test, let's check out the controller if the D-pad do have the option to actually do some moves itself. Wow, where the D-pad feels so weird and cheap. It performs quite well. There we go, let's do the super move. Wow, this is just amazing. And I'm not using the analog stick, let's use the analog stick. If I'm holding the controller in the right position, even the analog stick is great. So this is absolutely a very cool, let's say, platform PC engine. I have the original systems and there are so many hidden gems on this. For example, having over here one of those games is like the Jackie Chan one. And let's see why we're having even more. Bomberman are great. There are so many hidden gems in here. Yeah, just check out and let's see if the emulation performance is good, because that is going to be a major problem with these devices most of the time. I think this is one of the best pinball games, or at least like the overall, let's say, performance in combination with it. This is actually an 8-bit system. And the emulation performance is just great on this. To give you an idea which game it actually was, this is absolutely a handy gem. This is Alien Crush. I think it also goes by a different name, but I think that's due of the region. Or do I have a brain fighter here? And of course we're going to be needing to checking out the Jackie Chan game, because that game is so cool to play. They also have been ported to the NES version, but this one is so much more superior when it comes to, let's say, all of the additions. I think the first time I ever played it was on that Pandora game handheld. No, it was on one of those arcades. Yep, one of those arcades that I think I reviewed, and I've noticed this game. So cool. Okay, so first of all, we're not paying a lot of money for a product like this, but that doesn't say that they need to check it out. I think it's absolutely another missed opportunities. You know, we have so many different ones here on the channel. I mean, in particular with NES Minis, SNES Minis, PlayStation 1 Minis, and they're just fun to check out. But there is always more the question, what did they mess up today? Yeah, and that is absolutely clear when going through, let's say, the gameplay itself. It's such like say, not a necessary thing they needed to do. It's just checking out, getting the right emulators. Because if you're going to be looking in the inside of this thing, there's actually most of the time nothing we can do. There's not a connection or getting into, like, say, the service, so we can switch out or modify the freaking emulators. You know, I'm getting really annoyed now. There we go. Stupid freaking annoying thing. Oh, Jesus. This happens so many times, that they're actually just doing setting off the main board itself. Here we're having the antenna for the controllers. Let's see what it says. DGGO1A HDMI version 1.3. So this is not even the version 1.0. This is just actually the, let's say 1.3. So let's say the third revision. So this thing, come on. They should fix something like this, that every emulator at least works like it should be. So the conclusion is very simple. What a hot mess this thing is. The SN Max or SN Plus, they have so much potential with these devices. But unfortunately, they just mess it up with a lot of emulators, don't work at all. But the controllers feel cheap, but they play actually quite good, especially when it comes to the D-pad. That was the biggest surprise of this video. Thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.